Welcome, everybody. I don't know if you could hear, I was trying to play music to get us in the mood. But we're going to start in just a few minutes. Um, we try to do our very best to always start on time because we know how valuable your time is. Hello, Samantha. So great to have you here today. Welcome, everyone. I'll just keep playing a little music up until, kind of like on Jeopardy, the music will be playing in the background. And then when the music starts to fade, then we're going to
check your email.
Right.
Oh.
So I'll get it started. We'll just play just a few more tunes. Sorry. How much I can do about that? Melissa, you said you can't hear me. That means that you can't hear me. Let's see. Okay, great. Welcome, everybody. So glad you all are here. Good evening and welcome. So glad you guys are here. It's 5:15, so I am going to stop the music and get us started here. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you are here. I think it's always a great way to start off with introductions. Um, my name is Keith Baltimore, and I am the Executive Director of Diversity, Equity, and Belonging here at NLU. If you have heard me talk in a setting like this before, I always probably start by saying to you that I have the best job at NLU.
This is going back down. This one going back down.
And hey there, LaDonna. I have the best job at NLU, and I really do believe that. I get to, hey, we can all hear you, LaDonna. I get to connect people to the institution in a really important way. But this particular experience, we really can't do without somebody that's also very, very important. So I'm going to turn it over to him to introduce himself, and that is none other than Mr. Juan Vicente Nuno. Juan Vicente?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're excited. We're excited to have you join us for this program. This is something that we are revamping. This is something that we are excited to bring to all the NLU community. And your participation and commitment to these workshops are essential in making the most of this experience. My name is Juan Vicente Nuno. I am the Student Belonging and Leadership Manager here at NLU. And I'm going to be one of the leaders for this program, the Golden Eagle Leadership Program. And, together, I feel like, this is a great initiative to just create a vibrant and supportive, community. So I'm so excited to start this. This is going to be our first workshop of the year. So thank you for being here. So yeah, that's me. Oh, by the way, you're gonna be receiving a lot of emails. A lot of the emails that you receive are from our office and mostly from me. So is there anything you want to share with me via chat right now? Go ahead. You can send it directly to me or feel free to send emails to myself. I'm gonna share my email with all of you via chat.
Yes. So today, I guess I'll be doing a lot of talking today, but essentially Juan Vicente is your point person for Golden Eagle Leaders. I just happen to be a presenter for today, and I work with Juan Vicente. Um, so I get the honor of presenting to you today on your very first topic. So by any chance, for any reason, you cannot hear me or you cannot see, please let us know and we'll try to correct the problem. So I tend to talk loud and fast when I'm talking about something that I'm really excited or passionate about. So if that happens to you and it's a bit unsettling, then good, because I'm trying to keep you awake and energized because I know it's in the early part of the evening and we want to start on time and do things in an orderly fashion because I really want to show how much we respect your time and we appreciate you being here. But we believe we have something that's really important and valuable to share with you. And so we're glad that you're part of this program and that you've registered to be a part of Golden Eagle Leaders. So I share this photo with everyone often because I think it really represents the vibrancy of NOU. And this Golden Eagle Leaders program is an example of how NLU students and the community, we are all growing to just be better. There are folks at NLU who are doing some amazing things that you may not be aware of because we all kind of get in our own little bubble. But there's some fantastic, some amazing, energizing things taking place at NLU, and you are participating in one of them, and it's called the Golden Eagle Leaders Program. So again, I'm glad that you're here. Now, if you are here, we want to make sure you get credit for being here. So I'm going to put into the chat, but you can also scan. This is just a quick way to help us to keep track of your attendance, that you participated in this experience. And if for some reason you're not able to scan the QR code or you'll get to the link in time, we will share this with you again. Let me put this in the chat so that you all can have it. I'll stop sharing here. Just click on that, and all it is just you're just going to put in your 2 or 3 your name and your information, just so we can give you credit for this particular workshop. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. This is how you're going to make sure you get credit for the program. And then I'll also pull up the presentation back up. For those of you who want to use the QR code, you're free to do that. Awesome. As I said, we're going to go back to that QR code and we'll offer that link to you again. But I want to officially welcome you to the first Golden Eagle Leaders Workshop of the year. This is a year-round program. As we've said, it's a series of 90-minute workshops, all about your leadership development. And we're glad you're here. So to begin our conversation about, actually, what I want to do, let me stop here. My apologies. I think I'm looking at our community and I think we can do something really fun here. We're gonna play a short game called 45-second slots. 45-second slots. And essentially all it is that I'm going to pair you up randomly This is in a random breakout room, and you're going to have 45 seconds with someone you do not know. Dun, dun, dun. 45 seconds with someone you do not know, and you're going to be responding to a question, and then you're going to immediately come back into the main breakout room. You got it? I'm gonna, and now the rule of the breakout is that you have to turn on your video when you are talking with this new person. Because when you get into the breakout room, you're going to introduce yourself, perhaps maybe say where you are and what you're studying, and then you're going to respond to the question. All right. So that the main rule is that you have to have your camera on when you're talking to this person that you're going to be put into a random breakout room with. Okay. You got it? So let me put up the question you're going to be responding to. The first question, you're going to name two leaders that are great in their roles as leaders and why. Two leaders that are great in their role as leaders and why. All right. You're going to have 45 seconds and only two people per. So there might be some with, I doubt it, there might be some with three people, but it shouldn't be. But only two people per room, hopefully. Okay. And we're going to open up all the rooms, 45 seconds.
Uh, Hello. Hi,
Hi.
Keith. Keith, I just got disconnected. I don't know how.
Okay, we'll match you with somebody else. Let's match you with, uh, because I might be someone else. Looks like there's someone other person.
I was with the I didn't
Madison?
see.
Madison?
No, no. Her name was kind of big.
Okay. I'm going to pair you with, let's see here. Hopefully this will work.
Am I going to a different breakout room?
I'm sorry, who's speaking? Because I was,
Oh, Madison, I went to the breakout room, but no one was there.
oh, you know what? I had just tried to put something with you. We're gonna go another round here in a second.
Keith, I was with no one.
We'll do it again. We'll just, maybe it didn't match up. We're gonna do it one more time. We'll make sure you get one this time.
All right.
Okay. I know it was quick. It was supposed to be quick. Wait for everyone else to come back.
Oh, Danny!
Hi.
Hello.
Oh.
Hi. Hi, Tess.
Hi, how are you doing, bub?
Doing good. Doing good. Did you get enough time? Did you get enough time to share? You probably didn't. 45 seconds is quick, isn't it? You gotta just blurt it out there and just go right to the next one, huh? Did not have enough time. Okay, you're gonna have one more time to do it. This time I'm gonna pair you with someone completely different, and then you have a different question, but the same concept. You have to have your camera on, and you're gonna be put into a random breakout room. Introduce yourself, say perhaps where you're from and where you're studying here at NOU, and then you're gonna respond to the question. You got it? Remember, the main rule, I see a lot of, you don't, if you have your camera off right now, that's fine. But when you go into your breakout, you have to have your camera on. Okay, this time, this question is, now you just answered two leaders that you thought are doing really good at their job. Now I want you to name two leaders who you think are very weak and are not doing very good at their job. Now these could be leaders, and let's keep it simple. You know, these could be leaders maybe that you know personally. It could be someone in your family, or it could be someone that's that we all know. Just name them, and you don't have to go into any detail as to why, because you both have to take turns, and you have 45 seconds. And hopefully, Madison, we're going to get you in there and get you in one this time. All right, everyone got it? Okay, I'm going to put you in the breakout room. Uh, And I think, let's see. Okay, and go. Hopefully you should have. Hello, Addison. Looks like you're paired with me.
Hello. Yeah, I was just told I'm taking the train back and I had tried to send you a direct message. Yeah, they're telling me I gotta get off.
Oh no. Hey, take care of that. We understand. It's all good. Jump back in when you're able to, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Mhm. You didn't have anyone, did you?
No, that's okay.
But you know what? It's kind of because who you are and stuff. It kind of worked out okay because the other person said she's on the train heading home and they have to get off the train. That was the person that you were supposed to be matched with. So
That's okay.
it
That's
didn't,
fine.
it didn't happen. How are you doing, by the way?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I know it's kind of weird. I see you all the time, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I won't be there next week though, because I have to go back home to take care of my car.
Understandable. Okay. I gotta close these rooms down.
Sounds great.
See ya.
Bye.
How was that one? Hopefully that was a little better. I think everyone got matched that time perfectly. Awesome. You got somebody that time, Madison? Yay.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Awesome. We are a big fan of using the chat and using the emojis and the reaction buttons, do all of that stuff. You know, in Zoom land, these are legitimate things. So if you react and respond with an emoji, thank you, Heidi. I see it. We see it, and we really encourage you to do that a lot because we know it's a Zoom and it's not the most natural and organic way to have a discussion, but make use of it while you can. Okay. Awesome. Well, hopefully you got the chance to meet at least two people that you haven't met before and get to know. We will do more and more of that. Part of what we're hoping to do with Golden Eagle Leaders is to truly grow a a community of people who want to advance and develop their leadership skills. All right. Let me dig right back into it. We just did our 45-minute slots. And I'm going to start off with, I originally want to start off with this very interesting quote, because today's workshop is about leadership and self-awareness. And a key aspect of self-awareness is when we're talking about knowing yourself, And we want to help you to start that process of really getting to know yourself on a critical way so that you can discover who you are as a leader. And I always like to start with this it's a very basic but really important quote from Ray Kroc. It says, "The quality of a leader is reflected in the standards they set for themselves." If you aren't familiar with Ray Kroc, he's basically famous for owning McDonald's. So if you've had a McDonald's, anything, McDonald's French fries are the best. Most unhealthiest, but they are the best. Ray is famous for, he bought McDonald's back in the late 60s, and then he made it like this huge global thing. And he really promoted this idea of standards that you set for yourself. And when I talk about standards for the self, what we really are talking about are what are the personal, private standards you have for yourself. Those standards that you will do, that you will accomplish, that you adhere to, that you committed to, even when no one is around, no one is looking. Even if you don't get credit for it, you still do it. Um, my my younger brother has, for his entire life, he would always get up in the morning and he would make his bed. And I always thought that, because I was not a person who would get up in the morning and make my bed, but he would make his bed because it really helped him feel like he could start his day and be really organized. And he did this ever since he was like 7 or 8. Now I'm the oldest, so maybe I had a different set of things, but he did this, and he's done this consistently, whether someone notices that he makes his bed or not. But it's a small thing, but it's a standard. It's a private, personal standard that he has for himself. So part of what we want to help you explore today is, what is that personal, private standard that you have set for yourself? And if you haven't set that for yourself, we want to help you begin the process of setting a personal standard for yourself so that you can then begin to really explore who you are as a leader. And we want you to start by thinking about a mantra, a leadership mantra. If you're not sure what a mantra is, it's basically like a quote or a statement, something that you can um, say to yourself and repeat over and over, that as a reminder and of great value to you. So I'm officially calling this your first assignment, which is that you are to identify a mantra or a quote that really speaks to who you are as a leader, who you aspire to be as a leader, what that speaks to your values, that speaks to your identity and your goals. And you're going to identify this mantra or this quote. It could be a quote that you can find from someone else. It could be something that maybe someone in your family has shared with you, but it should be something that you've memorized, something that you don't have to look up, but something that you know. And it really speaks to who you are and what you're hoping to accomplish. And when you identify that mantra, that quote, during the next Golden Eagle Leaders Workshop, you're going to share that quote, that mantra, with the person that you're going to be speaking with, this random new person you're going to be talking with at the next workshop. So that's your assignment one. I'll remind you again by the end of the workshop today, but you are to identify a mantra, a quote that really speaks to your leadership values, your identity, your journey, and your goals that you can use to recite, that will inspire you, maybe share and inspire others. Are we clear about that? Give me a thumbs up or something if you got that. Thank you, Madison. I see you. Great, great, great. So people who focus on their strengths, because that's really what we've got to dig deeper into as leaders, people who are exploring what it means to be a great leader. It's focusing on your strengths, but it's also recognizing your weaknesses. And part of what I want to do in these next couple of slides is just to promote the idea to you about the great benefits to knowing your strengths. It's really easy to know about your weaknesses because you'll probably have other people pointing them out, or you might be thinking about them a lot. But a lot of people oftentimes don't know what they're really good at, what they're strong at, and sometimes they're not even confident in sharing and saying what it is that they're strong at. But as you can see on the screen, people who focus on their strengths are 3 times as likely to report having an excellent quality of life. Now you might, what's the connection between that? People who know that they're good at something, their self-confidence is increased, which means their outlook on life, their optimism is increased. So if your confidence is increased when you're approaching adversity, you do so with less anxiety, with less worry, because you're confident that you've got some things that you absolutely know that you are good at. And 3 times as likely to report having excellent quality of life. In many ways, what we talk about today and throughout this entire Golden Eagle Leaders program is how do we improve the quality of our lives? You all are here because you want to be great leaders. And I'm going to suggest to you that the best way to begin the journey of becoming a great leader is to first know how to lead yourself, to know more about yourself, and to be honest and be able to reflect upon that. So you see, next we said, those who focus on their strengths are 6 times as likely to be engaged in their jobs. That means it's not just a function. When you're engaged in your whole body, your mind, emotionally, you're plugged into the work. And that's really the kind of work that you want to do. You want to be able to do work every day that doesn't feel like work because you're engaged in it. It's meaningful to you. You can do so because you're probably using your strengths. Those who get to use their strengths in their work and in their job every single day, they feel connected to it because they know that they're good at it. People who focus on their strengths, they also look forward to going to work. Now, I've got to be honest with you. I consider myself an official grown up, and I don't always feel like going to work. But I have to tell you, within my entire career, 90% of the time, I have been fortunate enough to be able to be so energized about going to work. I could get lost in the work, just being so excited about what I'm doing that I look forward to actually going to work. That may sound strange, but it is possible. It is possible when you focus on your strengths and you use those strengths on a daily basis. If you think about it, we spend so much time at work. Why not enjoy it? At least enjoy the majority of it, so that you can be satisfied and, excuse me, feel very fulfilled throughout the day. People who focus on their strengths have more positive than negative interactions with coworkers. Um, excuse me. They treat customers better. They tell their friends they work for a great company. And I like that. It's funny how the idea that you go to your friends and you're talking about, hey, I work at such a great place. That's kind of what I do. If I really enjoy what I'm doing, I'm going to tell it to others, especially to those that I care about. They achieve more on a daily basis, that great sense of accomplishment. Excuse me, I got a interesting tickle in my throat. And they have more positive, creative, and innovative moments. All of these speak to why knowing your strengths and using them throughout the day can be so beneficial to you. Excuse me. You know what? My coughing reminds me of something I wanted to share with you all. This workshop is being recorded so that for some reason, for those who want to get credit for this later on, or they want to view it later on, we have it. So I just thought I'd let you know in advance that these are being recorded, and it can be used for your benefit in the future if you like. All right, back to my slide. The key to success is to fully understand how to apply your greatness, your greatest talents, and your strengths to your everyday life. So that is part of what we want to begin the process of doing today. And we will begin to build upon what we do today in future workshops here with Golden Eagle Leaders. So discovering your strengths and managing your weaknesses equals self-awareness. So for this context, for the Golden Eagle Leaders program, the way we are understanding self-awareness is to know what you are good at, to know and discover your strengths, use those strengths to manage your weaknesses, and then that high level of self-awareness will increase your leadership development. One of the things that I think we often emphasize is that the greatest leaders are the most self-aware. All right, so I'm going to actually pause here for just a second and ask you all about this whole concept of self-awareness and discovering your strengths and managing your weaknesses. And we were talking about how the key to success is fully understanding how to apply your greatest talents and strengths in your everyday life. Would someone be comfortable sharing what is one of the leaders that you said you believe that they're doing well in at being a lead? Someone share with us who that leader is and why. I'm going to stop just for a second. If you got the chance to share with us what was one of those leaders who you said, I think they're doing good in their role as a leader, and share why.
I'm a huge Milwaukee Bucks fan, so one of the people that I picked was Giannis. And part of the reason I think sports are a great example and opportunity of when people can be good leaders, especially in a team community environment. So I think he really leads by example by just by being a hardworking player himself, but also by communicating with his team the value of their family and other aspects of life outside of the sport. So
yeah, that sounds like you respect them not just because of what they can do as an athlete, but perhaps even who they are personally. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. And pronounce your name for us. It's Kai Marie?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yay, I got it right. Someone else, share with us an example of a leader who you think is getting it right. Who's doing it right?
Oh
I'll
God.
go. I think the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, is doing a good job. Florida just really went through a pretty serious hurricane, and he really stepped up. And I'm in Florida right now, so tolls were free. There was lots of shelters opened, and he just did a very good job at delegating and providing resources to the best of his ability for a state that was going through a natural disaster, which I think is really important.
Madison, I was just about to ask you if you're in Florida. You need to know that we're all thinking about you. We are sending positivity your way. My sister is in Tampa, Florida, and I'm getting text messages every other hour from her. I'm trying to debug them and stuff. So I'm sending all our positive. I think everyone in this Zoom can agree we are sending all positivity and support to you. And we're glad that you're safe. I could probably spend the next 20 minutes on asking you questions about what it's like down there. And so maybe afterwards, but yes, it's really interesting how in a time of great disaster, that is really when a leader can really step up and you can see, okay, because when you think about it, that's when you really need your leaders to be on it, right? everyone can lead when things are going well, but the person who really, hey, say you got it going on as a leader is like when everything starts falling apart, then they know how to pull it together and keep things on track. And I think that says a lot. So thank you, Madison. Someone else, I think, was it Isaac? Did you want to have, you had someone?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna say Ta-Nehisi Coates, who is an
Share with
author.
those who do not know who he might be.
Oh, he is a African American author. Um, I He has a bunch of books, Between the World and Me, several others. He has a new book out called The Message, and he's actually going to be in town on October 16th, and I am privileged to have scored a ticket to go and see him. But I think he's an amazing leader. A lot of his books are on the banned list, in Florida, more, Texas, a lot of red states. And I feel that he is a leader for truth telling. And if this if this nation needs something right now, it's truth telling. So yeah, Ta-Nehisi Coates is he's the leader I admire.
You know what I hear you saying, Isaac, is that it's leaders have to be able to, whether you're comfortable doing it or not, say the difficult thing. Say the difficult, uncomfortable thing that needs to be said. Like they talk about the elephant in the room, or there's an elephant in the room because no one's acknowledging that it's there. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there, right? So, like someone state the obvious, uncomfortable, so comfortable thing. So, leaders who are able to do that, yeah, I understand. I understand that. Let's do one more. Someone have another leader who you say you think got it right.
I'll go, I guess. I couldn't think of her name earlier and then I got it wrong, so that's on me. But Jill Stein is currently a 2024 presidential candidate. I mean, unfortunately, she probably doesn't have much, what do you call it? Of a chance. But she's one of those leaders that her boots are on the ground, so she's excuse me, you know, in protests, with people who are trying to, oh my God, I can't even think. Protest the war in Gaza, protest the overturning of Roe v. Wade, um, the Lebanon war now. I mean, she has a lot of like the Democratic views, but she's actually actively saying, hey, let me work with people who are going through this and talk with them and try to do better instead of just kind of sitting behind a desk. So that's my idea of a good leader, someone who's with the people and not hiding from them.
Sounds like Jill is all about action, right? Someone who's a doer. I agree with you. That's very important. Margaret, I think I saw you unmute and you're about to say something. I still want to give you opportunity if you had somebody you want to share.
I can say it. It might not be the most perfect answer, but I was thinking more of the music industry, and I touched base on Noah Khan because I know he's a big advocate for mental health awareness and showing his struggles even through his music, but also in his concerts out loud. And he's taking that platform to spread awareness on just like treating yourself well and getting the help when you need it. And I think that's very positive for especially young people to take into consideration, I guess. Yes.
Yeah, I think that is so crucial. And I think it's interesting about your particular pick. Is it Margaret? Am I pronouncing it right? We like to get names
Yes,
right here.
Margaret.
What's interesting about your pick and Miranda and Madison and Kai is that each of the leaders that you selected appear to be themselves. They appear to be it's naturally their leadership extends naturally from who they are, who their personalities are. And there's something to be said for that. That speaks to that high level of self-awareness to someone who knows themselves and can say, like Miranda said, I want a leader who's about action, then that's completely embedded personally into who that person is. Like in Madison talked about a person who can lead in a time of emergency. That's tied to who they are, because not everyone can think clearly in an emergency. Sometimes they're kind of like someone who can do that. That is who they are. And so what we're hoping to do is to learn from the examples that you've just given, examples of leaders who take who they are personally and they use that to lead and to be greater leaders because they have a high level of self-awareness. Another way of self-awareness, you can say they're very comfortable with themselves. People who are incredibly comfortable with themselves, they're not necessarily looking for approval. I would imagine Ron DeSantis and Jill Stein, they're out there doing their thing. They're not interested in waiting for someone's permission or approval to say, hey, I like what you're doing. They're like, I know this is what I need to do. And they are doing it. That is incredibly crucial. Anyone have any comments or response to that before we move on? Thank you. Those are some great suggestions of leaders who, like you said, are doing an amazing job. So let's continue on this journey of self-awareness. Because again, that's what this is all about. We are trying to know ourselves better so that we can discover how to be better leaders. Leadership doesn't happen in one class or even in 1 year. I'll challenge you and say that you can attend every single one of these Golden Eagle Leaders workshops, but the real work begins privately. It's about that standard, that personal standard that we were talking about, that you work on every single day. That goes way beyond what you may be exposed to here within Golden Eagle Leaders. So I like to share with you the strength philosophy that we like to promote, which is that one should waste as little effort as possible. And I really want you to think about this because this is at the crux of how we are going to approach leadership here within Golden Eagle Leaders. One should waste as little effort as possible on improving areas of low competence. It takes far more energy to improve from incompetence to mediocrity than it takes to improve from first-rate performance to excellence. That is a long way of saying we here at Golden Eagle Leaders and in National Lewis, we want you to focus on your strengths. We need you to know what your strengths are. You need to be able to list them. You need to be able to rank them. Know your strengths. Everybody in the world is going to focus on your weaknesses. In fact, you will focus on your weaknesses. You might be thinking about them right now. You're in this leadership development program because you're thinking, I have something that I'm weak at and I need to improve upon that. And what I am saying to you in this very first workshop, that instead of focusing on your weaknesses, know your strengths and allow the development of your strengths to lift and raise up the improvement that you need in your weaknesses, your areas of improvement. Focus on the strengths and allow the strengths as they come up, they will simultaneously also lift up your weaknesses. This is not to say that we're ignoring our weaknesses. As I said, we're humans. We're going to focus on our weaknesses on our own. Use this as an opportunity to really lift up your spirit and your confidence level. All of the speakers, all of the leaders, excuse me, that you just mentioned, they have a high level of self-awareness that is built and based upon their great level of confidence in themselves. Confidence that came from knowing about very specific things that they're strong in, that they're good in. So we need you to know what you're good in. And so we want to use today as part of that. If you already can list 5 things that you are strong at, and we're talking about career, professionally related things. If you already know those things, you are ahead of the game. But we want to help everyone to know and hone in on your strengths because there will be time to focus in on your weaknesses. Okay, this is how the process is going to work. Now, this is I'm going to put this in the chat also. It's a link. You can scan the QR code or you can click on the link. This is going to be a brief test. It's an assessment that you're going to take of your current leadership skills, your current leadership aware ability. And the assessment assumes that you are a professional, that you are a professional already working in professional environments. So when you scan and you start going through the questions, and this will take you about 5 minutes. So I was playing music earlier. I'm going to put some music back on, and for about this will take you. It might not even take you 5 minutes. It might take you 2.5 minutes to complete. And after you complete it, it's going to give you a ranking or a score. And we're going to take a look and study that score. Let me get this. I want to make sure I get the link for you. We're going to put it into the chat. And I'm going to give you, we'll give you as much time as you need, but I guarantee you it won't take you more than probably 2 to 3 minutes to complete this very, very brief leadership assessment. All right, so I'll put some tunes on. I'll try to find something crazy to put on. And so take this assessment before, and I need everyone to complete it. And completion of this helps to build upon material that we're going to be using here shortly. So how is it going? I'll give you about another 60 seconds. Yes? Thanks for responding, Margaret. Addison completed. Yay, good, good. We're going to take a look at those results that their list. This is just a starting point for us becoming more self-aware. I knew it. See, I knew you guys get done fairly quickly. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So they shared with you basically types, six types of ways to think about your leadership, to ways to think about your style. They presented ambassador, advocate, people mover, truth seeker. Somebody was talking about a truth seeker earlier. Who was that? That was Isaac, right? He was talking about Ta-Nehisi Coates, truth seeker, creative builder, experience guide. These are by no means the only way for you to think about your own leadership style, your own leadership legacy, or be aware. This is a tool that we are using to begin the process of greater self-awareness for our leadership. All right, so if you have your results there, you calculated up there. So let's say, do you agree or disagree with what they got? So let's see what did you get? What kind of responses did you get? Who's willing to share what they received or what they came up with?
Hey, it's Ann.
Yes.
National Lewis. So because I'm an older person, and I'm not gonna get on camera. I wasn't ready, but I'm an older person. I'm 62, so I have lots of career, I got 35 years worth, right? So it pretty much described my career, how I was.
Okay.
As an ambassador, yes. Advocate, yes. I was a supervisor. I was a trainer. I was a mentor. So, yeah, it was described me real well.
So what was your strongest one?
My strongest one was
according to the assessment. Yeah.
Experienced guide.
Experienced guide. So what do you think about that? Being an experienced guide.
I like that. I mean, because
I was like, do you see yourself that way? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
The term experienced guide conjures up an image of someone. You see what it says, right? When you look at the description of an experience, now you said it. Now so I'm just going to read it. So don't shoot stuff at me. But it says the experienced guy conjures up an image of someone very old and wrinkled, with the experience that comes with age.
Yeah.
But experienced guides does not have to be old or necessarily experienced. What they do have is the ability to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And to put themselves in others' shoes. I would imagine after 35 years, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's me. That's me. And I'm a mother and a grandmother. That is me. Yeah.
In all of those roles, mother, grandmother, all of those roles also influence your leadership style.
Yes.
Absolutely. you can't stop being mother or grandmother when you're probably at work. That's still we carry all those with us, don't we?
Yeah, that is true. And even at school, though I think some students probably think I'm a professor or something. They don't think I'm a student, and they'll come up to me. That's fine. You know, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Being thought as a mother figure. Yeah.
Yes, it happens.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Who else? Anything about what else surprised you, or what were your results that you get?
Well, I got creative builder.
Okay.
And it does describe me pretty well, because I'm usually excited at the beginning of things, and I like to see how things get. I like to be a part of something that is building from the ground up. So
yeah, see, we share that. We share that. I like being a part of like a new thing and putting it together and starting it. Yeah, that's a I think that's quite powerful. It says creative builder, visionaries, and entrepreneurs. That's the very first, that's at the top of it. They are happiest and most driven at the start of things. They instinctively see new opportunities for new products, new companies, so on and so forth, new markets. They take ideas and make them real. We all need more people like that. So that doesn't surprise you then, huh, Isaac?
no, not at all.
That's great. That's good. Did anyone receive something that surprised them?
I guess I can go quickly. My name is Alexis.
Yes.
So I guess the one that was surprising was that all of them were fairly average, like about 17 or 18, except for the creative builder one. I was interested in the advocate one because I never see myself as an advocate. I think I like to challenge a lot of things, if anything. So I do not see myself as an advocate, but I guess it comes when it comes to individual issues or more personal items, then in that case I could be an advocate, but not for like work setting. I like to take on more on the creative side, which is like I think last year was in the process of expanding some of the services we offer as a nonprofit organization to go more in ground. So that's where the creative builder side could come in.
That's great. That's great. That sounds like an interesting surprise. We had enough. Someone else raised their hand. Was that Tess?
Yeah, I had raised my hand, but I was like, is this an emoji? Because I'm still getting used to Zoom. When Alexis was talking, it kind of reminded me, like, I expected mine to be advocate, and instead mine was it was the experience guide. And I was like, well, let me try that again. And then I started laughing, like I'm thinking, is it because I'm a therapist? It's a good thing to listen. It's a good thing to have these qualities.
Yes.
And you know, when people come to you and even your coworkers, you just want to listen and be present, and be in that moment with them, because everyone carries something. Everyone goes through something, so you just want to be there for them. But I'm with Alexis. I thought mine would be more like an advocacy, and I was surprised that I scored very high as the other.
Isn't that interesting? So how we see ourselves may be different. Like we might be putting something different out into the world, into the universe than we may even be completely aware of. I would say you probably are an advocate in and you're doing that. But isn't it interesting how this is a way of kind of like looking at you're being looked at, but through new and different eyes from another angle, another perspective. I was a part of an event earlier today, and someone was talking about an elephant, several people touching an elephant, but they're blindfolded and they're touching different parts of this elephant, and how they're all touching and experiencing the same thing, but it's from different angles. And how many ways, that's why I like what you just said, Tess, is that what we're doing is we're trying to look at ourselves from the other side of the elephant. You know what I'm saying? One side of the elephant, there's this huge trunk. And if that's the only part that you see or you know about, you think, okay, that's what this, it's this thing. But then you could experience another part of you, like, oh, the skin is wrinkly and hairy and it's gray, and it could be something completely different. So it's giving us a more fuller picture of ourselves. And I think that is so important. And so I'm glad you were able to discover that. I saw in the chat, who was that? Let's see. Anuri, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. Ainur. Ainur. I hope I got that right. Said that they are a creative builder. It looks like we got a lot of creative builders. Were there any people movers? Anyone get a high people mover score? Addison got ambassador. Instinctively knows how to handle a variety of situations with grace. We need a lot of people like that, especially around here. Actually, we need a lot of people. We need that in the world today, don't we? I mean, everything changes so much within 24 hours. How to handle a variety of situations with grace. That's great, Addison. Munib got ambassador with 19 points. So yeah, we need to spread you guys out on teams. We have Addison on one team and Munib in another team, because that's we need those people sprinkled out to help us all out. That's great. That's great. So let me ask you, why would you think we would ask you to do an exercise like this?
Probably to see what we thought about ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. To see what you think about yourself, but it's also a way for another type of entity to kind of reflect and look at you too. So sometimes we don't see ourselves properly. You know what I'm saying? You need someone else from the outside to say, you may not be seeing this. You may have a little blind spot to this, to yourself, but this is also you. And this leadership legacy assessment is just a way to look at you from a very different angle. And the hope is that you are discovering something about yourself that maybe you didn't think about. What I'm hoping is that maybe you saw something in there that you agree with, but you're also surprised and you're like, maybe that is me. And after further reflection, you'll begin to see, okay, actually, yeah, they're right. There's a part of myself I did not see, was not completely aware of. We can get into that for another reason, but that's great. Ada said to see our strengths and weaknesses. Yes, exactly. And Eradita said, these are different leadership qualities that can also be tied to your identity. Are you in my head? You're like 2 or 3 workshops ahead of us, because you're exactly right. These things that you're discovering about your leadership style, your leadership legacy, are completely tied to your identity. And one of the things that you are going to be exposed to during Golden Eagle Leaders is the ways in which you can use your identity to become a stronger and better leader. We say embrace all of the unique aspects of your identity and let that help make you a great leader. You don't have to change aspects of your identity. You actually need to start using more of them, but you can't use them if you aren't aware of them. It's excellent. Let me pull back up my slide, because one thing I do know about myself, I do not have the best memory. Juan Vicente knows that. I forget stuff all of the time. All right. So hopefully you did come across some things that you agree or disagree about the assessment. But ultimately, this is where we are. We want you to take everything that you see that is exposed to you and that assessment as a beginning point to help name who you are and to help target and focus your actions now. So now you have, it's a beginning starting point. It's up to you whether you believe it or not. It's a simple test. There's others that you could take, but there needs to be a tool to kind of do some type of assessment of yourself. This is just a tool to do that. If you answer the questions truthfully and honestly and correctly, it's giving you a starting point to help you to begin to build your leadership development. So take it, when we say name it, in other words, we're saying own, name what that is, understand what that is, and then aim, when we say claim it, aim it, we're saying know what it is, own it, don't deny it. Say, yep, this is who I am. I am an experienced guide. I am an ambassador. I am a creative builder. Claim that and then use that to make you better. Use that in your leadership. Add it to your arsenal or your list of strengths for yourself. Because just to go back and reinforce what we were saying about our particular approach to weaknesses versus strengths, I said to you already, our culture will always focus on your weaknesses. You will always focus on your weaknesses. So it is a mistake to think that by focusing on your strengths, that you will somehow ignore your weaknesses. That's not possible. Every single day, your human nature will remind you of your weaknesses. That will be the dominating theme in your brain. We're trying to override that. We're trying to use your strengths as a way, let that be the overriding energy and the tool for development for your leadership. So culture focuses on your weaknesses. We want you to focus on your strengths. We are always looking at our best and our worst. So we want to be focusing more on that. Weakness fixing equals prevents failure. Weakness fixing. So when you're spend all of your time trying to fix your weaknesses, you're actually wasting, you could be wasting valuable time where you could be enhancing your strengths that will actually indirectly and then usually directly improve upon your weaknesses. So strength build and let that lead to success. And then we always like to share these just some very brief tips about managing your weaknesses because they never leave us. We're humans and we're always wanting to cover up, to hide, to kind of deal with our weaknesses in our own ways. Sometimes we deal with them by avoiding them. And sometimes we avoid them and covering them up. And then sometimes we kind of deal with them in private. We want to just offer to you as a leader that a way to manage your weakness is to collaborate with others. You've got to be around different, more people. Being around people, particularly who you may perceive to be great, they automatically help you to raise your game, to improve upon who you are already. So collaborate and work with others. In other words, this leadership journey can't be experienced alone. It's not a solo experience. You get better at being a leader by collaborating, connecting with people more. Delegate to others. If in your role as a leader, I encourage you to embrace the idea that there are some things that you will not be perfect at or be the best at. And it is okay to say, I'm going to actually give this to you. I'm going to seek your help on this. Or you're not always able to do that sometimes in leadership. But when possible, you can delegate things that you are not so good at to others who are passionate and good and enjoy doing those things. And then third, learn the skills or knowledge that you need. Every leader that I know of is constantly improving their knowledge. They're constantly in school. They're constantly going to professional development and reading books. They make the time to do that. They're always in conversations trying to learn new things, learn new skills. The world is constantly changing. What you needed to be a strong professional 10 years ago is different than what you need today. So the ability to know, to situate your identity in a place where you will always be receiving as a learner. You'll never reach the point where you master all. And I think on an intellectual level, everybody kind of gets that. But to actively say, I need to set aside time to learn. When you're no longer in school, when you're no longer at National Louis, how are you setting aside time to still learn? That's where the the encouragement for reading takes place. The encouragement to be in different and new environments. That exposure increases your learning. And so here's the math to focusing on your strengths. You need to know that your talent, we did that assessment. That assessment is supposed to help you to think and look at yourself a little bit better. We want you to identify your talents, the things that you're just good at. You've been good at them since you were 5 years old and 12 years old. And you've always been, what are those things you're naturally good at? The way you think, the way you feel, the way you behave. You take those things and you invest time into making them better, the practice, the skill building, and that will equal, strength. So do you know what you're talented at? That's a rhetorical question and an actual question. I want you to actually begin the process of listing your talent, your professional talents, things that you know that you're good at. Say, I am legitimately good at this. Not that you're better than anyone else, just to say, this is not comparing yourself to anyone, just that this is something that I can do well, that I'm comfortable in, that I know well. Identify that thing. And then how can you use that natural thing that you're good at? How can you improve upon it by practicing it more, expanding on your knowledge about that more, and watch your strength, your ability consistently improve in perfecting that talent so that it begins to impact your strengths. So when you're using your strengths effectively, we talk about strengths often. In other words, that's what we want you to do. What I'm doing right now is I'm encouraging you to talk about your strengths, to know your strengths. If this assessment that was just taken reveals to you a strength, you need to know it and then talk about it. Talk about it with your family and your spouses and your children and your friends. They need to know this is something. So talk about it often. Just let it be a very natural thing. Oh, so-and-so is good at organizing. It's okay to be known as that. So take it and embrace it. And then allow those strengths to lead you to greater successes. And ask yourselves, where have they led to success? Oops. I don't know how that happened, but my computer, it's been on too long. And then when you're talking about your strengths often, when are they creating, as you're talking about, where are there barriers to your growth? So we want you to look at that. And then remember, there are patterns of thought tied to understanding your strengths. You have to invest the time and the energy to make things stronger. So in other words, it doesn't happen by accident. And then finally, when you're reviewing your strengths, I'm sorry, I was just wanted to make sure I was not missing a comment from someone in our chat. To identify and develop your strengths enable us to identify our skills as leaders. And if you take away anything from today, this is the main point that I really want to leave with you. And I think we've said it already, which is that using your strengths help you to overcome your weaknesses. So don't fear your weaknesses, and instead celebrate your strengths. And I guarantee you, I guarantee if you work and focus on your strengths will motivate you to further develop and enhance and improve upon those things that you are weak on, that you are weak in. It will naturally happen. Being greater and stronger in those things automatically will increase your efforts towards your weaknesses. And then again, to continue to collaborate effectively with others. That's what will enable you to do when you focus on your strengths. Okay, we're drawing to a close here this evening, and I want to help us to think about our next steps within your development. I want you to begin to have a personal conversation with yourself, to think about how you will apply your strengths in different ways and in different groups. That means you may have to step outside of your comfort zone. Once you know what your strengths are, you need to find new places and spaces to use those strengths. So how will you apply your strengths in different groups you're a part of? And what is one theme you want to focus on transforming into as an effective strength? So listing those strengths and then focusing in on one and say, this, I want to use this to transform this particular strength to transform myself. Really embracing what it is that you are supremely good at and being okay with that. And then I want you to share what you discover, this conversation that you're learning about your strengths, share it with your loved ones, and then get their impressions. We were talking earlier about how you might think that you're one way, but the people who are closest to you, they may have a very different perception of who you are. So you have to have conversations with others, particularly with people that you respect and that you trust, and say, hey, these are my strengths. Do you agree with me? However that conversation unfolds for you, we're asking you to be very intentional about you when you do that. All right. Do we have any questions? Any questions? I see there's something in the chat. Yes,
yeah,
I'm
I have a quick
absolutely
question.
going to share with you. Juan Vicente and I will be sharing with you our emails and some further contact information. I'm sorry, someone was about to speak.
Yeah, it's me, Alexis. I have a quick question. Is this limited to current NOU students, or is this also available for those who just finished?
The Golden Eagle Leaders is for current NOU students.
Okay, yeah, because I'm in the little loop where I finished, but I might be retaking courses later in the semester. So that's why I don't know if I'm in or out.
I think you're in. Let's have a conversation afterwards.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
We'd love to have you stay on board. Any other questions before we give you some final announcements and information? All right. We're going to hang out for a little bit, but in case you did not have the opportunity to do so, and you want to get credit for participating in tonight's workshop, you can scan the QR code, and I'll also put the link back into the chat. And you'll simply just, this is how you're going to get credit. You'll put your information into this tracker for us, and we'll get you credit for participating in this particular workshop. So let me go ahead and do that for you again. For those who may need it, I'm going to put this in the chat. All right. I'm going to make just this one announcement, then I'll turn it over to Juan Vicente if he has anything else to share with you. But your next Golden Eagle Leaders Workshop will be on October 24th, and it will be emotional intelligence. You'll have a completely new presenter, and we're excited about this. This is one of the ways we keep this very interesting. You will have different presenters throughout the year, people who are specialists and experts in their field, presenting, sharing, and talking with you. So October 24th will be the next workshop, and you can expect to get some more information about that and the program in general from Juan Vicente. But I want to thank you all for participating. I'm so excited. I'm glad you made this really, really important first step into being a true Golden Eagle leader and increasing your leadership development. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and ask Juan Vicente if he had anything he wanted to share and allow, again, anyone who wanted to ask any questions.
Yeah, well, I want to say thank you. Thank you, Keith. That was great. Thank you all for joining us. Keith is our Executive Director of Diversity, Equity, and Belonging. So that was amazing. Thank you, Keith, for being here, for sharing this important and amazing topic with all of us. Just like you said, all of you, please save the date. October 24th is the next workshop. Same time. We receive this question a lot. Yeah, all our workshops are Central Standard Time. So we are in Chicago. So I know that it can be not very convenient for some of you, but unfortunately, that's the way we're gonna do it right now. Maybe in the future we can do it at different times, so we can adjust, different campuses. If there's anything you wanna ask, you'll have my email or respond to the ones that you are receiving with information about this program. And I want to be mindful of your time. But if there's any last minute questions, go ahead. Right now is the time. It looks like Erendida, you have a question? Go ahead.
Yes, moving forward, will all of our meetings be on Zoom?
That is correct. Just because we felt that it would be more convenient for a lot of different campuses and for a lot of different, all the schedules for all our students. This year, we're gonna do all our workshops via Zoom. So again, all of them, they're gonna be at 5:15 Central Standard Time, and they run for 75 minutes. Now, what will happen if for any reason you miss one of them? Reach out to us, because there are different ways that we can provide a way for you to make up one of them, make it up. So in that way, you can continue on track. So if there's same like if you feel like for any reason you're not gonna be able to attend any of them, same situation, send us an email and we can just find a way for you to again make that happen for you. The way it works with sharing this also via email, but once you complete all the workshops, and again, it doesn't have to be in 1 year, you can do it, start this year and maybe continue on different ones. We don't want you to feel like rushed and doing a lot, right? But once you finish all the workshops, then we provide a certificate of completion. We also provide a Golden Eagle Leader medal pin. They're really cool. And also you are invited to the awards. What's the name, Keith? The award celebration dinner that happens during the spring every year, correct?
Student Leadership Awards, yes.
And it's during that award is when you receive your certificate. So it's very cool. And also you receive a cord that makes you kind of like stand out, saying that you are an Eagle Leader, a cord that you can use during your graduation ceremony. Again, you can keep it and you can just wear it the time that you are going to have your ceremony. So any questions, any other questions before we end today's session?
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Anandita. All right, Keith, back to you.
Well, thank you all very much again for attending and spending the evening with us. We really do appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you in the future. Juan Vicente and I, again, we're going to be hanging out for a little bit if anybody has any last minute questions, but enjoy your evening and thank you.
Oh, sir.
Yes, we'll hang out. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rafael.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I arrived I came a bit late, like for 5 minutes. I don't know if you did something before. Like I just arrived like 5:20, just for 5 minutes. I was late, so I don't know if you did something before that. I joined or something.
I'm sorry, what was the time that you joined?
Yeah, I joined at 5:20 p.m.
No, I don't think you missed a lot, right, Keith? I
Okay.
think it was you just missed perhaps, at the beginning we did an icebreaker. We were having a conversation with another student and we were just talking about examples of the leaders or the leadership that you feel attracted to right now. But no, you did not, Rafael. You didn't miss anything. Were you able to do the assessment? The
Yeah,
one that we did?
I complete the form and I did the 2 rooms with the 2 people from the meeting.
Oh, then you didn't miss anything.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
You made it on time.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Sorry
but
for
no,
being
thank you.
I
Thank you
missed-
for
I was
asking,
for 5
making
minutes
sure
with
that,
but-
yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you,
All right.
Rafael.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
All right.
To
See
the
ya.
rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions from the people that we are still having in here? I know, Alexis, you wanted to share something with us, correct?
Yeah, so I've just recently finished my MBA 2 weeks ago.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations. Wow.
So maybe that's why I missed this one last year. But now that I'm free, well, I have more time, but also I might be retaking courses probably in January.
Okay.
Through April, I think that's the goal.
Okay. Keith, why don't we sorry, Alexis, do you want to stop recording right now?
Yes, thank you.
Let's stop recording because otherwise we're gonna
Yeah, it'll be super long.
we're gonna also record the